Hi there, in this video, although we've all used them at some point, I'm going to talk about the different types of chatbots, what they're best used for, and what to consider when looking to deploy them within your business, and indeed which one might suit you the best. I'm John, and I've been involved in chatbots since 2022. But firstly, let's get rid of the elephant in the room. Those little boxes in the bottom of the screen that pop up and say, "Can I help you?" If you've got one of these on your website, congratulations, you have the digital equivalent of a voice queue, and you're going to have people wait while you ignore them. It's rather like having an open sign on your door that's locked. Right, enough of my little tirade, back to business. I want to start with workflow chatbots, perhaps the easiest to deploy. These are like a friendly form filling bot that sits on the website. They are structured, they are controlled, and they have a natural flow to them, which is why I refer to them as workflow, though they have various other names as well. They're definitely a lot easier on mobiles, and bearing in mind that the most users to websites these days are the smartphone generation, and so anything you can do to assist their navigation of your site or to help them use your site to get information, the better. They're perfect for where tasks have a specific ending in mind. So for example, if you need to get them to fill in the form, as I say, if you need to get some contact information for them, if you need to book an appointment, or perhaps some other specific project or service that you supply to direct them towards that, they're a great resource for achieving that. In use, they are fast and straightforward to utilize. They have quite a simple user interface in that regard. If they're well designed, they do assist the users appropriately. Even better, quite often they'll be pre-filled because the smartphone retains some information, so when it sees a field for name, that's what it's filling in, a field, it will pre-populate with their details, which helps them complete it, especially when they're on phone. From your perspective, they provide a consistent response that you can utilize in your business services. So if you're intending to say provide them with a quote or a proposal, you've got the information you require to achieve that end. But equally, if they are badly designed, they can send people down to rabbit holes they can't get out of if they choose the wrong path, because with these workflow bots you can have them split down different work paths depending on user responses, and they can find themselves stuck and have to go all the way back to the beginning if they so need to change direct. They can also sometimes feel a little bit robotic and automated in their response. But that said, they are a lot faster. They can certainly type or input their responses much faster than the customer service reps can. And lastly, they're not really suitable for highly complex environments. So if you want to offer a multitude of answers or have a multitude of departments you want to operate them on, individually, they don't really work that well in that scenario. You can, however, deploy them on different workflow bots onto different pages that are specific to one scenario, if that. So where might you deploy this kind of chatbot? As I said, it's normally for a specific task-driven response. So there's something in mind that they want to get. So it may be they're asking for a quote for a product or a service. It may be they're looking for a parcel, a delivery schedule. They may want to book an appointment to come and see you. The very structure of these workflows can help massively with this and save a lot of time for the user and yourselves in handling the phone calls to do the very same thing. It's a great way into automation. They're relatively fast and easy to deploy in comparison to the AI cousins, and they're a great sort of stepping stone into the automation sector and to this AI style response. As I've also mentioned, you can have different bots within the same website that respond to different scenarios depending on where the user is. For example, if you had one on the front page that took information for quotes, you might have one later on the FAQ page that responded to FAQ. That was a quick summary of workflow chatbots, which are designed on a structure in order to ascertain specific information in a structured Q&A type system. So now we move on to the exciting stuff, or AI chatbots as they're called. And it is the sort of latest hot topic at the moment. Everyone's talking about this, and much of the information I'm about to give you applies to both on-screen based chatbots as it does to voice AI chatbots. But today I'm specifically referring to the on-screen chatbots. I will do some more on voice bots in the future. And I'm not going to bore you with all the technical jargon. You don't really need to understand all that at the moment. You just need to know what's the difference between the AI bots versus the workflow. So what is the difference between the AI bots and the workflow before? Well, the AI basically uses a knowledge-based system in which to get its answer. You are probably maybe familiar with the ChatGPT type systems. You may have used those yourself. They are using a very, very vast knowledge base, but ultimately that's what it is. It is a knowledge base of information. And the AI chatbots work in a similar way, but within a confined environment. So the knowledge base they have is based on your specific need. From that, they can understand and respond dynamically based on the user input. They can handle complex conversations. So much so that it can even understand when a typo has been input and understand the intent from that conversation to know how to apply it to what they're asking. Don't always get it right, but they do a pretty good job. And of course, the other big advantage is they can be multilingual. Some of them speak up to 95 different languages, or should I say programmed with 95 different languages. So for a multilingual response is something, you know, if you're dealing with international customers, whatever level, something like this could be perfect for you. So clearly, what are the benefits of this? Well, they feel more natural, for one thing. They feel more human in their interaction with the user. And as they've been trained on different queries and different scenarios, they understand what the user is trying to establish or trying to find out and can respond accordingly. And this obviously vastly reduces the staff that you need to handle common tasks of all the things. So you don't necessarily have to have someone on the phone all the time picking up basic customers questions like what color is it, where's my item, so on and so forth. All that can be programmed into it. You can even program in real-time information systems so that it's constantly updating itself or constantly aware of real-life information and update accordingly as needed. They're very flexible for open-ended questions, conversation. But ultimately, they improve the user engagement with their natural language flow. It feels humanistic in its response. And not forgetting, of course, it is scalable depending on your need and the sort of operation you're currently running. Now then, but unfortunately, as with every pro, there is also some cons, and these aren't infallible, these little fellas. They sometimes do come across as a little bit too confident. We refer to it as hallucinations when they make up answers. This can be trained out of them, but can take some time and effort to minimize that. Does that actually make them human? I don't know. Naturally, such training and development and maintenance, for whatever better word, does come at a cost, and there is that element that's involved with these. And if you don't fine-tune them, they can misunderstand and miscomprehend what customers are after. So it is an essential element of their deployment to work through them as often as they can in testing, keep checking them throughout the deployment period to ensure that they are staying on track. They may struggle at times with specific technical or domain specific knowledge. So if you are, for example, in a technical industry that has certain buzzwords or acronyms, it may not fully grasp those. It sometimes even has to be trained on how to say certain words that are common enough in English language. It just, for some reason, doesn't quite calibrate to that until it's been trained. And the other obstacle they may come across is they don't always follow the instructions to the letter. So it's critical that they stay within a remit in responding to any responses, any questions, then these may not be the ideal solution for those situations. Where they do excel is in customer support, frontline customer support, particularly in environments such as e-commerce or software as a service or in the hospitality industry. Here, users expect a sort of a natural humanistic response, and that's what these bots give them. And better still, if it's in their own language, it's a win-win all around. Perfect within the creative industries also. You can use them for brainstorming ideas, they can be used for sales and marketing, suggesting entertainment ideas in the hospitality sector, and so on and so forth. And obviously the knowledge base that they use can be expanded given time. So you could start off small and then increase the knowledge base as you identify more and more needs, or your deployment changes and you want to increase where the chatbot is utilized. So that would be just a case of adding to the data that already exists. And so too, where they will work very well, there's places where they don't work or should be avoided. And I'm thinking here, or certainly as they are at this moment in time, the advice sector, because they are prone to going off track slightly, or not being 100% accurate, then legal advice, health advice, that kind of thing, they're best avoided in those scenarios. There is a lot of situations too where the budget constraints may prevent them being deployed. Clearly they're very versatile tools, they can perform a lot of functions, but they're attributed to that is the cost of actually developing and installing those setups. And it may prove that what you want it to do is feasibly not possible with the budget that you have. And likewise, they don't perform particularly well in strict workflows where there is a pattern to what they need to achieve. They can obtain information, so they can be used in the same way as the workflow chatbots for taking inquiries and taking information from the user to then provide a quote or arrange an appointment. But they're not always as strict at following the rules on that, and so it may go astray occasionally on a point. So it may be that if that task is quite complicated, i.e. if you have a multitude of questions to ask in order to get the information you need, it's potential for it to go wrong during that procedure. Whereas if it's a short, sharp, get the information, they do much better. These things may develop, you know, the cool thing about AI is it's literally changing every day. It's getting more and more sophisticated every day. So I say this now, this is February 2025, March 2025 could be a whole new story. Just bear that in mind. And as I said, the voice AI bots, they come in the same category as the previous one. You've just got to think sort of Alexa and Siri on steroids. It gives you some idea. But I will do a dedicated video on that because they really need for you to understand how good they are to see that on an individual basis. So we'll come back to that at a later video. So from your perspective, what do you need to do in considering which chatbot might be the best for your given situation? And it comes down to, does the customer need a structured workflow in order to ascertain the information or pass on the information, or do they need something that's more conversational or more interactive? And it may also be, in terms of the voice, that for whatever reason using the screen, using the hands isn't possible, and just calling the phone is a far easier option. We're talking really about user expectations at the end of the day, and obviously that's the important bit because it's your customers that are important to you. So if it's a quick solution they want, like filling in a form, the workflow chatbot is going to be by far the best option in that. Let's say these replace forms, it might be to sign up to a newsletter. It could be so they can just ask a quick question about a particular product or service, and you can show the difference to save them fumbling around your website. But it may well be that they actually have a more complicated question, or you've got a much more involved website with lots of information, lots of services, and they need to hone in very quickly and get their answer. In which case, this is where the AI chatbots come in. Assuming, of course, you've put the knowledge into the knowledge base, the AI chatbot can bring it out and respond accordingly to the user. And then it's just a case of you deciding, is it best to have it on screen in a text type chat, or would it rest on a telephone and have a voice style? And as I said earlier on, budget and cost is going to be a deciding factor from you. At the end of the day, you know what you can afford to spend and what you can invest in this. The return on investment will be high whichever you use, but do you need to go all out, all singing, all dancing with a fully integrated voice system, or will just a simple, quick question and answer workflow chatbot solve your problems? And the final consideration you need to do to decide which one's best for you is think about the tasks that the user will have to go through in order to get the information that they need. As I said, if it's just a case of they want a quote, they need to supply you with a name, telephone number, email address, maybe some information about this product or service they want information on, and that's it. Very straightforward, can be done on the form. If, however, maybe they want some technical support on some product or service that you provide, then they're going to need some more complicated interaction in order to achieve that. They're going to have to explain what the problem is, and then the body's going to have to go and find that information in order to be able to handle that query. And indeed, larger organizations, if you've got a very large, diverse organization, clearly an AI chatbot is going to be far superior in that situation because it can handle and pass on people to different parts of the building, or parts of your organisation, even across continents if need be, in order to best assist the customer. So once you've answered those points, you'll be well in way to deciding which one is the most appropriate for you, and then you can give us a call and we can help you out further. And that just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching. I do hope this has been of interest to you. Please feel free to ask any questions in the comments below or reach out to us and we'll do our best to answer. I've been John. See you again soon. You take care.